Good morning from Italy. We took a bus from Ljubljana, Slovenia to the Italian port city of Trieste. And when we've not been avoiding the torrential downpour that has been happening here, we've been scoping out some cool things to show you guys. We're only here for a few days, so we're not going to be able to do some of the amazing things outside of the city center, but we got our walking shoes on and we're going to show you the cool things here. So let's go.
First things first is coffee. Trieste has a very unique relationship with coffee, and for good reason. This is the Mediterranean's biggest coffee port. Coffee's serious business in Trieste, and the best place to dive into this culture is through experiencing one of its cafes.
We're at Caffè San Marco, which is a really popular place for the people here. And my goal is to order coffee and not sound too much like a tourist. Supposedly coffee is a little different than the rest of Italy here. For example, when you order an espresso or cafe, you order a nero. And then when you order a cappuccino, which is what Trey always gets, it's a cafe latte.
For this bit of information, we a lot of times will rely on Google, which lets us down sometimes, but we'll see. I think the coffee's gonna be good no matter what we get. We know it's gonna be strong because every coffee that we've had here so far has been crazy strong.
I wonder why they gave me a... Am I supposed to... This is very nice.
All right, we got some coffees, and now we're gonna go explore some of the beautiful things that you can see outside before it rains again.
One of the most notable areas in Trieste is the Grand Canal. Whether you visit by train, bus, or from one of the port stations, it's nearly impossible to miss. For example, when we got off our short Flixbus ride from Ljubljana, this was our first stop.
Right next to the Grand Canal is a church that really surprised me. Knowing that the dominant religion of the country of Italy is Catholicism, I was kind of shocked to see a Serbian Orthodox church of this size here. However, in doing a bit of background on Trieste, I learned that the city's kind of a melting pot of cultures from throughout the region. For example, there's Slovenia to the east and south by about 15 to 20 minutes, Croatia's a bit further south by about 35 minutes, and Austria is less than 2 hours drive north. After the Second World War, it became the capital of the Free Territory of Trieste and stayed this way for 9 years. The changing of hands of the city over the centuries led to a multicultural and multi-religious population. Now that's a very broad, quick overview of an extremely complicated topic, but that's why you'll find so many different religious sites and monuments like the Serbian Orthodox Church of St. Spyridon. It was built in the 1860s and currently holds various items of art, historical documents, and other objects that can date back to 1751 when Empress Maria Theresa of the Austro-Hungarian period allowed the free exercise of religion for Orthodox Christians here in Trieste. Along with Grand Canal, you're going to be pretty hard-pressed to avoid the main plaza here in the city center of Trieste. We are currently in a place called Piazza Unità d'Italia, or Unity of Italy Square. Now, I apologize in advance for my Italian not being what it should be. I probably butchered that. The origins of this square date back to the Austro-Hungarian Empire and includes the city's municipal buildings. It kind of reminds me of a mixture between the Grand Plaza in Brussels with the building, but then the leading to the sea like the Commerce Square in Lisbon. Those are two pretty strong features to have in a city center. Now I know this might sound terrible, but we just ran to the Despar, which is a grocery store here. It's a little convenient store, a little grocery store, a little express store. It's a store. And we are heading to our next stop.
In an effort to save a little bit of money and also enjoy the waterfront, we got our lunches to go.
I got pizza.
So it's Italian. We're saving our big Italian experiences for dinner tonight, so just you wait.
Today's lunch spot is MOLO AUDACE, which is a nice pier in the center of town and just a short walk from the Grand Canal and Unity of Italy Square. The biggest reason why we're out here and trying to enjoy our food out here is because I know I've mentioned this a few times, but it is torrentially rained every single day that we've been here, pretty much. So we're trying to maximize our time before the rain starts again, which it is absolutely going to.
All right, now that we've gotten some food in us, it's time to go check out a really cool castle nearby.
We're not going to be able to make it to a lot of the cool places that are outside of the city center of Trieste, but thankfully there's a castle still within the town that we can get to within walking distance. So we are heading now to Castillo de San Giusto. On the way up to the castle, we just walked through a church called Santa Maria Maggiore, and I don't know if it's the music inside or the fact that we had it basically all to ourselves, but it was unbelievable. This is the only Baroque church in the city, and it dates back to 1682. Also on the way up to the castle, you can stop by Richard's Arch, which is an archway, like a gateway to the old Roman city that was here back in the 1st century. We have made it up to the castle of San Giusto. €5 each to enter, so it was €10 total.
It's cheaper though if you're under 26, and I turned 26.
Or under 27, so if you're 26 and below.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she turned 27.
Dang
Just barely missed it. The castle sits on top of a hill overlooking the city of Trieste, the hills, and the Gulf, and was built during the Austro-Hungarian reign in an effort to protect the town and provide housing for the fortress's captain. The captains resided here until 1750, when it was then converted to a garrison and a prison.
It's now neither of the two, but rather a museum for folks like us to enjoy. Making a note of this, documenting. This is the wall of our future garden.
Yeah,
at
really.
some house that we someday own.
All right.
And
What's
this
good
is the
about
door.
having a wall like that is it's protecting us from cannonballs. So.
And then this is the door to the garden. And then this is the passageway to the terrace. Oh, or I guess the inside. The wine cellar.
Your wine cellar looks a little aggressive.
We won't have a wine cellar like this one though.
If you decide to come up to the San Giusto Castle and San Giusto Hill, you can either walk up here, which is what we did, which is strenuous a little bit, or you can take one of the local public transits. I think I saw like a bus that takes people around, like a hop on, hop off type deal. So there's plenty of ways to get up here.
Check out these views. They're beautiful. This is really pretty up here.
Best part about this area of Trieste is that it's all very compact and really close together, which is kind of nice if you're, not trying to walk all over the place. Next to the castle is Trieste Cathedral. This Roman Catholic cathedral is dedicated to St. Eustace and is the main church of Trieste. The first signs of religious structure in this spot date back to the 6th century during the Roman period, but this church has been around since the 1300s. Speaking of the Roman period, just outside of the Trieste Cathedral and the San Giusto Castle is an area that dates back to the Roman period. These ancient Roman columns will lead us perfectly into our next spot. Alright guys, we have made it down to the other Roman site. It's the Roman Theater. This site sits just below San Giusto Hill towards the sea and was used as a theater all the way back to the 1st and 2nd centuries. The theater was uncovered in the 1930s when an architect leveled the houses that sat on top of it in order to try and uncover the ruins. This led to a long period of renovation in an effort to bring the theater back to its former glory. Nowadays there are concerts, plays, and other various acts that can take place here. Alright Hannah, snap us into dinner. Alright. I feel like we're just doing our route from earlier all over again.
We should have just done an early dinner, like 2 p.m., schnoo p.m. Oh wait, it wasn't open yet.
No,
okay,
it
never
wasn't.
mind. We're literally doing the same route.
Yeah, I know. I know we're in Italy, but there are a multitude of cultures that make Trieste what it is, so we're not going for the pizza and pasta. But, spoiler alert, we will be in Rome in just a few short weeks because we're meeting up with some of our best friends in the world, and we are going to eat all of the pasta and pizza you could ever imagine for those 4 days that we're there. But for now, we're going somewhere that's a little bit more local and very popular here in Trieste. Heard that in Italy, it's best to go to the places that you see the older gentlemen hanging around the most. I know that might sound bad, but it's honestly true.
For example, this is about as close as I've gotten to the menu out here. There's not very many pictures on Google, and now I'm able to see what I might order here. I'm not sure yet. The prices here are excellent, and this is exactly the kind of ambiance that I would imagine like your Italian grandmother brings you into their home for dinner, and it smells of fresh baked dessert, and it just feels very homey in here.
Grazie mille. I got like a gnocchi, like a breaded gnocchi with goulash, and Hannah got a Karstens ravioli. It's like a certain type of ravioli, and then we each got the polenta that we're gonna split as an appetizer. So I'm really excited about this dinner. Also, our server is the sweetest person that I've ever met, and I love this place. The vibe is just, the ambiance of this place is just unmatched. It's great.
Oh my gosh, it's like crispy. It's so good. The texture is crispy, which I wasn't expecting.
You can't go wrong with gnocchi. You just can't miss with gnocchi.
They're hiding! They're hiding! Sì, basta, basta.
Take all of it.
Ciao, thank you, bye.
All right, so we tried to. So first off, we might have overserved ourselves on wine. Second off, we tried to tip, but you can't add tip on top of a card payment. So we had to pay with euros, but we don't have any euros. So Hannah just scrounged up like a bunch of euros, like change, like 20 cents, 50 cents, and it worked out. These people are incredible. If you're ever in Trieste, please come to Trattoria di Mare. We were on the hunt for gelato. I tried to find like the best gelato place here in Trieste, but every time I Googled it, there was a new place that was listed. So we're just gonna hunt down some gelato and see what we find. We came to Trieste on a small bus ride from Ljubljana in order to get a small taste of Italy before we came back. What a journey. Because this is where Hannah wanted to spend her birthday most. She's a lover of gelato, good food, excellent wine, and a great time, making Trieste the perfect birthday destination. While we've only gotten a couple days here and some admittedly unfortunate weather, we'll always look back fondly on her 27th birthday. We're already excited to see more of this country very soon.
Guys, you've had a little too much to drink.
You don't have your backpack. So I ran back up this hill, and they're like, oh, why are you so out of breath? I was like, and I just went straight to the table, and I pulled it out, and it was underneath the tablecloth. So all of them were like, where did you pull this backpack out from? And I was like, oops. And they all started laughing.